Hey, it's Gene back here for Kiko. Today I'm going to show off the new Collision Level 1 kit. This comes with all of the tabs and leverage bars you need to move big metal. The K-beam, the K-bar, the K-beam Junior, it's all here, and we're going to make some magic happen today. So the damage we have today is on a Toyota RAV4. They've backed into something. They hit the bumper, which came up into the tailgate. It's at the edge of the panel. It's through this body line, up to the second body line, and it has put a wicked buckle right here in the top. We're going to come in with a centipede tab across the body line here, using the K-bar, making sure to place the foot at the bottom to make a huge move and get this going. From there, we're going to see what we can do and how that moves to get this good old knotted up mess back in line. We need to drop right into our 6 C's. Clean, check, choose, coat, correct, and continue. First thing is we need to make sure that this panel is clean. We're going to use the Keystone Panel Prep Solution, and everywhere we're going to work gets a nice scrub with a nice clean new microfiber towel. The next thing we need to do is check the panel. First thing we want to do is find out if we're working on steel or aluminum. I always have a magnet in my pocket. It's a steel panel. So the whole time our approach is moving the damage on a steel panel. Checking over the damage, right? We've got strong points here, body line, the edge of the panel is strong, another body line here. Is there any paint damage that's going to immediately fail? No, all the scuffs seem to be on the surface. All right, so we've got steel, we've taken a look at our damage. We need to know what temperature range are we in. It's the middle of summer, it's kind of muggy out today. We are at 85 degrees, which is right at the top of our perfect window for glue pulling. We like the panel to be between 70 and 85. 85 works all day long. All right, so our next C is choose. We are definitely working on collision damage, so I'm going to choose to use Cam Auto, which is our collision glue. The next is choosing a tab. I've decided to go with the 25mm flexible ice tab. The reason I did that, it's a little bit wider so I get some more surface area. The dent is pretty deep, so a rigid tab just would not get down in. I can flex the ice tab down into the bottom of the dent and it conforms right to the body line. My last choice I need to make is my lifting tool. For this repair, I'm going to go with the K-bar. I want to get the foot on this buckle at the bottom, hold pressure there while I'm on the tab using leverage to move the metal out. All right, so it's time to repair. We've cleaned the panel. We checked our temperature, and we're comfortably right now at 87 degrees. It's a humid day. One of the things you need to look out for when the humidity's up is getting the moisture out of the panel. A great way to do that is to use your heat gun, and I like to warm the panel to around 120 degrees. Perfect. We actually went at 125. We're good to go. And we know that there's no humidity that's going to form a layer of moisture in between our tab and the panel. Another great thing to do when you've got a humid day is go ahead and take the heat gun and just run across the tab. Again, just to get that moisture out of there. So we've cleaned, we've checked, we've gotten rid of our humidity. I've got my tab. We know what lifting tool we're going to use. It's time to coat the tab. Got our Cam Auto loaded up in the GPR Star gun. And I'm actually going to place this tab just below the center of the body line. And I need to make sure that I apply pressure to the center of the tab to let that glue form an even layer and get good adhesion. When you're on a vertical tab or a panel like this, it's a good idea to hold the tab in on a warm day like this, maybe for 30 or 45 seconds, so the tension of the tab doesn't spring away and separate the glue. All right, so we've got that in there. It's holding in place. On a hot day like this, the setup time is 6 or 7 minutes. All right, so like I said, I really like how this tab and the metal is holding out. I'm gonna switch from the K-bar over to the K-beam to give myself a second hand, or a second person, and hold some pressure out so I can get down here and start working this tight crown up. All right, so we've got our tab holding on. Temperatures are holding nice and steady. The Cam Auto is great for a long repair like this. I'm gonna go ahead and get the K-beam set up. What I want to do is we've got the articulating feet. I'm going to get my adapter on here, and I'm going to place the feet on either side of the body line. That's going to give me a nice strong point to be able to pull against. All right, so you can see I've got the feet adjusted above and below the body line on both sides. I'm nice and straight in, perfectly perpendicular to here with my adapter. And I've just got it under enough load to hold it in place. What we're gonna do, or what I'm gonna do, is start to increase the load. We'll watch the dent, we'll actually squeeze in just a little bit. Then I'm gonna open the tailgate using this as my second person to hold pressure so I can come down here with my body hammer and work this crown in. All right, so we've got the lift gate open. The K-beam is on. I've not added any pressure yet. A big thing you want to do here is not try to go too far. When we're going to come in and work this crown, you want some tension, but don't max it out. If you max it out, you're just going to break the glue free and everything goes flying. So with each one of those turns, I could watch my metal move up here. But we've got a really tight crown down here. We use the red slappy and the body hammer from our collision level 1 kit. And just with those few hammer blows, I've already taken all the tension off of there. I need to reload the power on the K-beam. So that is laying down really clean. looking across the sight line of the panel, this is pretty flat. And then coming up on the high side of the body line, we're looking pretty flat to the body line. I think it's time to move up and address the larger part of the dent at the top. All right, so we got our K-beam off. I'm gonna go ahead and release this tab so we can see what we've got, clean it up, and then figure out where we go from here. All right, so we've got the panel cleaned off. Back to our 6Cs. We're clean. Temperature-wise, still at 87, almost 88 degrees. We're good to go there. Checking the damage, we've moved this drastically out. We've still got a bit of a crown at the bottom, and we've got to contend with this big buckling crown mess at the top. So now, choosing my tab, I'm going to stick with that same 25 millimeter ice tab that went across here. We're going to make that same move up here, still continuing to use our cam auto. My lifting device for this time, I'm going to go stick with the K-beam from our last move, but I'm going to move up to the 100 millimeter adapter to give me my biggest, broadest pull right here. It's time to coat the tab. And my placement is going to follow the scuff right up the panel. Now, it's not really deep, so I'm not forcing the tab in, but we are on a vertical surface with a large tab and a lot of glue. You can see how the glue's running out the bottom. If I just let this tab go, it's going to want to slide down with the glue. 20 or 30 seconds. It'll be tacky enough to walk away. When we walk away, big tab on a hot day, we're going to wait our 6 or 7 minutes for everything to set up. All right, so we waited our 6 or 7 minutes. The glue's all set up. We've got the 100 millimeter adapter on our K-beam. And we are going to put the K-beam across the panel like this to leave room so I can knock down this crown here and get into these buckles up here. All right, so it's just now starting to load up. I'm not going to let it go because gravity's working against me, but even at the very beginning stages, I can already see the low starting to come up. These edges are moving right in. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and lift the lift gate up again so I can look across the panel and work these lows. All right, so we've got the lift gate up. We're going to start adding some more, just a little bit more tension to give this metal somewhere to go so I can work these highs down. Again, just like before, we don't want to overload it with tension and shock the tab off of the car. Down there's looking pretty good. A little bit more load. Let's start working this buckle. you can see the beam is already starting to loosen up from releasing that pressure. We just need to readjust a little bit. So as I'm trying to tighten here, it's actually not adding power, but I need to readjust because it's starting to tilt in. So with that readjustment, now we're getting great movement at the top to pull the body line this way. So I'm just releasing a little bit of the pressure to see where the metal wants to go. It's actually holding pretty still. Still got a low sitting fairly hard on the left side of the tab here. The right side is up pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and release everything, clean it off to reassess where I'm at. So if you've got a tab that's really stuck, if you come out to the edge and load it up a little bit, it sort of just wants to shear off. Release, there we go. All right, so come on over and take a look at the damage. All right, so we've got it all cleaned off. We're ready to come back. I'm switching now to the super tabs, and we're going with the blue material to give us some more flexibility to get down in here. Our goal is we're going to do a round tab at the bottom and this oval tab at the top. With the Cam Auto Glue, we're going to let that set up, and then my lifting tool, I'm going to go back to the K bar. And what I want to do with that is it's sort of a speed choice. If I set the K-beam up to hold power, it's going to keep getting in my way as I move around. I'm going to show you how to work with the K-bar and move around and hold pressure while I can work all the different crowns all around the dent. So we're going to give this 3 or 4 minutes to set up, and we'll be back with the K-bar to make some moves. So we're getting our K-bar set up. We're going to switch, or we already have switched to the closed end adapter. It's got this roll pin in it that will keep it from slipping off of the center pin on these super tabs. All right, so it's been 3 or 4 minutes. Our tabs are all set up. We've got our new adapter, our closed adapter on. The reason I want to switch to this over the K-beam is I'm pulling at 2 different points. So if I can come here, then I'm going to hold pressure out while I'm working this crown here, and then quickly can jump right up to here, get on and hold pressure out to work this crown again and try to work this buckle down some more. I'm just putting my shoulder into the car, and it's just a little bit of leverage out. Being this close to the end gives me stupid amounts of power, so I don't have to overexert myself. That popped off kind of quick, but we got a good move, and it let me really work those down. I'm real happy with how down here looks. I'm going to go ahead and release this tab. I'm going to clean this glue off and reassess where we need to go up here. All right, so what we're fighting here is the buckle, right? Back to that knotted up mess, that real high. We're gonna go with an ice crease tab with the K-bar again and hold pressure out and I need to get really aggressive with my hammer and try to get these highs knocked down. We're also going to come down here vertically in this crease and see if we can't get just a little bit more of this bottom dent to come out. The panel's already cleaned off. We're holding it at constant 85 degrees. When I place this upper tab, I'm actually going to hold to the right a hair and down a hair to give myself room to get the hammer in to hit those high spots. All right, we're going to let these set up for a few minutes and we'll be back to see what happens. All right, so we've got our tab set. It's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. Everything's nice and dry. I set this tab first so it's drier. To give this some time, I'm going to come down here and make a move. I want a really sort of aggressive pull here. This is really tight metal right through that body line. The K-Beam Junior comes with the crease killer feet, so that's going to allow me to get on this tab and bring these feet right up next to the damage, right up next to the tab, and pin it down. That's going to concentrate our pull as much as possible on the low. And that's really what I was going for. I wanted that snap to give me as hard of a pull as I could. That moved that low up really, really nice. So now that we've given this time to set up all the way for sure, it's time to come back in and attack these tough high spots. So you can see being really aggressive with the hammer and aggressive with the pull reduces the amount of time that that tab's going to hold. However, holding it out, I was able to watch this move down a good bit with those couple first strikes. All right, so we're getting super close. We're hoping that this is going to be the last pull. We've got a good low here, right? We made a great move on that last pull and got this line down and out. We've got a good bit of a low here and a little bit of a tight crown. We're going to mix it up. Going back to our super tab, we're going to come in with the K-Beam Junior to do sort of a double move, right? Instead of that shock while we're trying to hold it out and smack it, we're going to use the foot of the Junior on the crown, the super tab right here, and then the other foot up in here. If you'll notice though, this sits a good bit ways back in. To level it out, we're going to use our sloppy and put it under the foot. to put it on there. So let me get this glued up, and we'll be back to set it all up for you. All right, so we've let the glue set up 4 or 5 minutes. We need a nice good pull here. We've got the K-beam Junior ready to go. And see this, how it wants to fall in? That's where we're going to take the slappy and just make up some of that space. The two things that are really important when we set up here is I need to be a straight out pull, and I need this bottom foot to stay on the crowned up area. And we're going to keep an eye on everything, but this is going to be a pretty aggressive pull. The feet are far enough apart that I do have a line of sight through here next to the tab, and I can watch the metal move. So I really like how flat it looks below the tab. We're not getting any buckles or anything crazy above there. I'm going to start to back off a little bit and see if the crown wants to come back or if it's going to stay flat. And I can see the metal, so 3 or 4 turns in, I can already see the metal wanting to jump back down. I'm going to pull a little bit harder. And the tab's getting ready to release. All right, so that was the last move, right? That K-beam Junior foot worked its magic and pushed that crown and that smile way in. Now it's time to move on to the 6th C, which is continue. This is where you're going to take over with your traditional body tools and do whatever you need to do to get this ready for a glaze coat. Thanks for watching, and you can get everything you saw in this video at kikotabs.com.